Warning. This podcast may contain spoilers from whatever TV show or movie is mentioned. Please listen at your own discretion. Welcome to Viewers Anonymous.
What's going on? I am Scoots Bronson.
And I am S. Foster, and this is Viewers Anonymous, man. How you feeling today, man?
Man, I am feeling amazing, man. So, got some great news. You know what I'm saying? I've been one of those people who, you know what I'm saying, haven't had a license for a long time, right? So, like, I ain't had my license since I was 18, because I never went to go renew it. So I never went back and dealt with none of that shit. But the crazy part is, I done went and got my ID. Every time it's been expired, I went to go get my ID renewed. I never went to go get my license renewed, but I was paying on this shit, man. And this week, bro, I get all that shit paid off, so I'm getting my license back. Finally, man, I'm about to be back there legal again on the road. So it's about to be a good time. It's about to be a good time. Oh,
Yo. Yeah, hey, boy, the shit you find out. Well, I had no idea you had a license problem over there.
Yeah, I ain't had my license since I was like 18, bro. I be driving everywhere too, but nah, I finally got everything paid up, man. You know what I'm saying? Got everything out the way. So this last payment going through, and then I'm getting back on the road legal again. But I can't wait, man. I cannot wait.
Man. Shit, if we look, to stay on that, man. So, you know what I'm saying? I got a new ride back early. It was February the 7th, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, got to get a new tag and everything. So I'm waiting on the tag. And I bought my car out of state. I bought my car in North Carolina, right?
Okay.
So I'm like, all right. So I'm trying to make sure everything good. And so it's getting closer to my expiration date is for the 7th of this month.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying, time get paranoid. I talked to the dude at the dealership. He was like, yeah. He said, I had a customer the other week. You know, they tag came by a week after they tag had expired. He was like, you know, give it time, nah. So I'm like, all right. So then my shit expired. So I went to the DMV Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked them, I was like, yo, is everything good? I'm trying to figure out. I was like, because I was reading stuff online saying that you might have to go to the DMV and pay this and all this type of stuff. Yeah. So I asked the lady, and she was like, nah. She was like, the dealership handles everything. She said that, but the thing is, they have 45 days to put it in. So they was like, maybe they didn't put it in right away. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I'm kind of riding a little dirty. I mean, my paperwork is good. But, you know what I'm saying? But my tag expired on the 7th and the day the 16th. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't like riding.
Ain't nothing you can do about that. Yeah, ain't nothing you can do about that, though.
Ain't nothing I can do about it, man. But, you know, but I'm riding, just hoping they don't pull me over.
Take a chance, brother. Take a chance, brother.
Hey, but I'm going to the mailbox every day, but I don't never go to the mailbox every day. I go to the mailbox every day, but I'm like, dang, I hope my tag another day.
Hey, I feel you.
So DMV messing with me.
I can't wait to get that feeling back, man.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Man, hey, so I took your advice on one thing, and like I told a friend of mine told me too, and I've been watching Doom Patrol. Yeah. And the thing is, don't get me wrong, it's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. But it gives you something to pass the time. I got to episode. I think I'm coming up on episode 12, and the thing is, it's a good show, but I can see how it kind of flew under the radar because it's not it's not all of that, but. I'm getting to the point where I'm getting everybody's backstory and what people are starting to because the last thing I saw was when the robot dude, he found his daughter And so there was the whole thing about the watch, how the daughter was saying how her stepdad got eaten by this alligator. And when he got ate, he had on a watch that she had got from her dad that she engraved and gave it to him. So this dude is walking around all damn day in the swamp trying to find this damn alligator. Then he finally finds the alligator. And he was talking about all the stuff he wanted to say to his daughter. No, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say that. And then, like, once it came to that time, all he did was leave the watch on the table. And, like, so I don't know what she ended up thinking about it. Or is she going to try to track the dude down or what? But, I mean, the show is cool, man. But still, man, it's like, it's not even a comparison, man. To me, when you talk DC Marvel, man, it's not even a comparison.
No, it's
man.
not. It's not.
It's like even.
And I think that what DC did was they tried to follow that Marvel blueprint. You know what I'm saying? With putting out Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman, and then you know what I'm saying, putting in the Aquaman movie, and then you know what I'm saying, they had the TV show Flash. So then they thought they could give you Justice League, but it's like first, you know what I'm saying, like first and foremost, like DC's characters are too perfect. All of their characters are too perfect. Like they characters are never, you know what I'm saying, like they never in a situation where you would think that they can be defeated. You know what I'm saying? So like that's why they had to create like the death of Superman story. You know what I'm saying? The Dark Knight story where, you know what I'm saying, Batman got, you know what I'm saying, fucked up by Bane. Like shit like that. They had to create those because if they didn't create these, then you know what I'm saying, you never can defeat Superman or you never can defeat Batman. But it's like they fucked up big time when they didn't do better with Lex Luthor. Like Lex Luthor is really, you know what I'm saying, like a super villain. Like he really got like all these weapons and shit that he could use to kind of, you know what I'm saying, fight back with Superman. And then not only that, like, you know what I'm saying, they threw Doomsday in there, but the way they threw Doomsday in, it was stupid because it was, you know what I'm saying, like at first it was Batman and it was Superman just fighting Doomsday, and then they didn't really show all of the capabilities Doomsday could have. So, you know what I'm saying, that was stupid the way they fucked that up. Then they had, you know what I'm saying, the chance to bring in Darkseid. They never brought in Darkseid, which is supposed to be out today, I believe. The 4-hour Justice League movie is out today. So I think that's the one that's like got 4 different parts or whatever. So they're supposed to be showing Darkseid in this version. And I know the Joker is also in this version. So I'm gonna go watch it and see. But they never really got a chance to really put their villains as, you know what I'm saying, like the head of the role. Like if you watch the Marvel movies, the reason we fuck with the Marvel movies so much is because they villains are really like the second leading role, you know what I'm saying? Or 9 times out of 10, the villain is the leading role. Like if you watch, I'm trying to think, if you watch something like Thor, you know what I'm saying? Loki is in the mix. He's like a leading character, but you know he's the villain. You know what I'm saying? When you watch Iron Man, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, Iron Man 2, Justin Hammer, and the one dude that, Ivan Vanko. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they always got interesting villains who either bring the hero on the brink of destruction or, you know what I'm saying, they either, like, getting them right to where they on the brink of death. So it's either one, you know what I'm saying? Like, they really giving them a challenge, and that's what makes the Marvel movie so good. Because it's like, all right, how the fuck is he about to come back from this? Like, he got a dude that got the same powers that he got. How can he now come back and, you know what I'm saying, defeat dude? And once they do it in, like, that Marvel fashion where they go big or go home, and it just keep coming. Now, DC's animated movies are way better than the live-action joints. Now, DC's animated movies can't be fucked with. Them joints are good.
Yeah, like I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna watch it, man, because I just feel like, you know, when it comes to this HBO Max thing, I might as well watch everything. Now, I didn't watch that Tom and Jerry joint they dropped, I think last week or the week before.
It was good.
It was. I mean, I'll probably give it a shot, man. See what it's working with. But like even when I was a kid, like I used to fuck with Tom and Jerry. it was one of those cartoons that always kept you kind of entertained, like that and
Yeah,
Gargoyles.
I
I tell you,
watched the
Gargoyles is my shit.
Gargoyles is that shit. I watched Tom and Jerry with my kids, man, and they was on the floor laughing the whole time. I definitely watched it because Kevin Hart's people is on there. The Plastic Cup Boys, they actually got roles in the movie, so they did a great job with the scenes that they had in it. And then shout out to T-Pain, he was singing in it. So you know what I'm saying? He got a little part where, usually they'll make Tom sing, but it's like an old blues song or it'd be like some old jazz shit, you know what I'm saying, in the cartoon. Well, in the movie, they had T-Pain record something and Tom was singing as T-Pain. It was good, though. They did their thing, man. It was a
That's
good
dope.
movie.
That's dope. I'm gonna have to check it out, man. I'm gonna have to check it out now. But like, yeah, I'm gonna see what the Justice League is rocking with. Just to really just get the cinema in, man. Because like we're in a
Hmm.
time now, you might as well watch everything that you can,
Yeah,
especially like if it's a
yeah,
situation where you don't have to pay for it with the movie,
right.
and then you got all these different streaming services.
Oh,
So
wait a
like,
minute. Wait a minute.
uh,
Hold on. I think I'm tripping, bro. We got some other shit that's out too, though. Oh man, hold on. I believe
what's
Mortal Kombat is out.
hold on? It can't, man. Hold on. What's today's date? I don't think it's out yet, is it?
Uh,
Let me see. I'm looking on this joint now. Let me see. Tom and Jerry. Nah, it ain't up yet. Nah, it ain't out yet.
April 16th. Never mind. Woo, whoo.
Yeah,
Hey
yeah,
man.
yeah. It's not out yet.
Hey, boy, I was about to get hype. You hear me? I was about to get hype.
Yeah, I didn't think it came out yet.
Okay, okay. I was about to say, boy, cause sheesh.
Yeah, I didn't think it was yet. I knew it was coming, but
Yeah.
I didn't think. Yeah, 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 yeah. Man, don't do that.
Man, I'm sorry, man.
Hey, but I was like, hold on. I was like, I don't think that stuff is out yet. You know what I'm saying? Because
Man, I got excited, man.
but what's the name supposed to be coming out? Winter Soldier, Falcon and Winter Soldier supposed to be coming out in like
Hmm.
a week or so too. So
Yep.
we got a lot of stuff to look forward to, my guy. A lot of stuff to
Man,
look forward to.
man.
So I gotta let the people know you made or suggested a great idea. As
Yeah.
far as the episode today, like we already told the people what it was.
Yep.
And I thought it was a great idea to do this now because this is one of those movies that the very first time I seen it, I was like, yo, this is great. I've actually never heard of this story before,
Hmm.
and to see it being played out, and even when it comes to like just the small things, it's just like, yo, just imagine like if we were just thrown back into 1966, and it's just like, yo, with the mindset we got now, it's like, yo, basketball, my G, like they
Yeah.
just want to play basketball. You know what I'm
Hey, I ain't
saying?
gonna lie to you. If I had the mindset I got now, going back in '66, I'd be Steph Curry before Steph Curry.
It wouldn't even matter, man. They didn't have a 3-point line.
Still, just the crossover and the handles that I got, like they'd be done for.
Yeah, man, and it's wild, my G. It's so crazy, but man, we doing Glory Road like you
That's right,
mentioned.
man.
You know what I'm saying? Last week, the Walt Disney film. They did a great job. It seems like they really spoke to the people that were still alive that could tell the story. Especially when
Yeah,
you watch the end of the movie, you see all the interviews, and it was even dope that they talked to Pat Riley and got
yeah,
his side of it. And for somebody like Pat Riley to be, as famous as he is right now, and what he ended up becoming, like people got to realize, like he was a nice player. You know what I'm saying, for his time, but then to become the coach that he became, and then
hmm,
now being the president of basketball operations that he has become. Like Pat Riley's a whole legend out here. And for him to be involved in this, and he made like one of the greatest statements that, because I went back and watched it again the other day, and he said that this game was the emancipation proclamation of 1966 when it comes to basketball.
Mm-hmm.
For them to have for Don Hopkins to have this idea of like, yo, I'm only going to play my 7 black players.
Yeah.
And that's it. And to do that, I mean, to do what he done, like this dude was a high school basketball coach.
A girls'
basketball coach.
Yeah, a girls' high school basketball coach.
Hey, comes in like, yo, what's my recruiting budget? They're like, what? Man, you were just coaching girls basketball in high school, man. What you mean recruiting budget? What you mean putting together a basketball team? And to be like, all right, so I'm at this small school. I ain't going to be able to get nobody. All right, well, I go snatch up all these black dudes then. How about that? And flip the script on the whole college basketball landscape, man.
Yeah. Man, my mom made me watch this when it first came out, man. She told me that it was something I should watch. And it was interesting because, you forget that, things were a certain way. Like, you know about history and you know how people, were going through everything that they went through, but you forget, like, 1966, this is 2 years after, the Civil Rights Bill was signed and passed. This is 2 years before my mom was born. Like, a bunch of this shit is really, like, not that long ago. And so when you get a chance to kind of see that brought to film, you kind of get surprised and you kind of get, you kind of get overwhelmed a little bit because it's like, man, like, they were really going through this in real life. Like, this is something that they really had to deal with to where, it could only be 1 or 2 black people on the court. And if it was 2 black people on the court, each team had to have 1, like, or, or one team could only have 2. And then, you had to sub yours out so the other one could come. It was just so crazy, just, hearing just the goofiness of it all and just knowing, like, all of this shit that they was going through was because, just their skin color. Like, we went through it ourselves before, but really thinking about that, like, we talking about basketball. If we look at basketball as what it is now, I'm sure that the motherfuckers in 1966 were faint. They wouldn't know what to do because everybody on the court is black. You know what I'm saying? Like, even down to the motherfuckers on the bench. So, like, to look at where we've come and to look at where the game has translated to and the way it's played now, like, even, like, looking back and thinking about the alley-oop, like, the first play of the game, it wasn't alley-oop, it was a slam dunk. The first play of the game was a slam dunk. And it's like, to think that was so far-fetched that somebody would jump up and put the ball in there as tall as they was, like, it's so crazy just to even think about that. Like, Pat Riley getting dunked on in the first play of the game. Then at the end of the game, them losing, Adolph Rupp really showing his respect. And, especially being Kentucky, like, where some racism was super high. They played in Indiana where racism was super high. So, like, just to, see that and to know that they came from this small school that nobody even heard of before and nobody even thought about. And then, they end up winning the national championship, going through tournaments and everything else like that. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah. And another person that, I want to make sure that I said this, like, because when I was watching it the other day, I said, I got to make sure I say this. Like, we got to get Don Hopkins his due, man. To go out on a limb and be in the South, Texas of all states, and to be like, yo, I'm going to recruit 7 black players and put them all on one team. And like, they even expressed this. They was like in the South, like, every team in the South has at least, well, not at least, but like one. They have like 1 player. Some don't even have 2. In the ACC, the SEC, and all of that.
Kansas. Remember, Kansas was like that.
Kansas had 2.
Yeah, but they had that one.
They both started, though.
Yeah.
But the one
of them was One of them was real good though.
Yeah. He ended up going to the NBA and everything.
Yeah.
He was man, why his name
Didn't
isn't
he play for the Celtics?
was it the Celtics?
Yeah.
Man, I forget who it was. But like, yeah, he was considered like he was an All American and everything. But see, Kansas is more considered of the North, Midwest, you know what I'm saying, kind of North. So they
Yeah.
could play black players and it don't really be an issue like it would have been for them. But
Mm-hmm.
for him to do that, and not only that, but Don Hopkins is a Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
he didn't just win a national championship one year and then just fell off. Like I think he was inducted in the Hall of Fame, and it was either '94 or '97, and he racked up
Mm-hmm.
over 700 wins. So
Yeah.
he was a good coach, but you need to have that first person to go out on a limb, just like Uncle Washington say. He always say, "Were there some slaves that could read?" I'd be
Yep.
like, "Yeah." He was like, "Well, that mean there had to be one white person to teach that slave how to read." So it's
Mm-hmm.
like Don Hopkins was really, especially in the South, he was the first coach who opened up that door for it to be a little bit accepting for these coaches to start having more black players on their team and stuff. And then Adolph Rump didn't recruit his first black player until I believe it was 73.
Right.
And then he stepped down the next year. And so it's kind of like to see the things that was going on and the reason that they was going on. Okay, now I know that this probably okay. I'm gonna tie all this in, right? I know I'm rambling, but like I'm into this type shit.
Yeah.
So for the people who don't know, the very first person to go to the University of Mississippi was James Meredith, right? James Meredith went to Ole Miss during the time, if I'm not mistaken, it might have been '64, if I'm not mistaken. And so, obviously he went through a lot of shit. He was just a student, you know what I'm saying? He didn't play no sports or anything. But so he
Mm-hmm.
was just a student. Like basketball players used to fuck with him. Like they ended up clearing out a dorm room because none of the white people wanted to sleep in the same dorm room that he was in.
Right.
And dudes on the basketball team used to go above his room and bounce a ball all night so he couldn't get no sleep. So
Yeah.
that's just like some of the shit. And like they had to have the the Army Reserve to follow him around to make sure he didn't get killed and all that type stuff. I think that was Lyndon B. Johnson's doing. So to get to
Mm-hmm.
my point, the same year that he was there, the football team went undefeated. Obviously, it was an all-white team, so
Yeah.
they went undefeated. But what happened was there was a race riot on the campus because some white students started to actually conversate with James Meredith, like, "Yo, this dude's pretty cool. Like, why are we, treating this dude like this? You're a pretty cool guy." So some of the white people started to be fond of James Meredith. Then this race war broke out, all this type stuff. And what
Mm-hmm.
ended up happening was, I don't think the NCAA was created yet. Because, back then, they didn't play a national championship game. They just appointed people the national
Yeah.
champ.
It was whoever was number one.
Yeah, and Ole Miss, they was like the first team to go undefeated and not be a champion because they didn't
Mm-hmm.
appoint them the champion because of what happened. That's
Right.
just the and the reason I brought that story up during this is for the simple fact of this is just one black man that just wanted to just get a higher education at the
Mm-hmm.
University of Mississippi, and all this stuff happens, and the football team had to deal with what they deal with when they didn't even have a black player on the football team.
Right.
So it's just like, then when you think about the scene when Neville Shed went and used the bathroom in the restaurant,
Yeah.
he
And they
gets beat
jumped.
up jumped in the bathroom, put his head in the toilet after they pissed in it and all this type shit. And it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, we talking basketball. We talking about motherfuckers trying to get an education. Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
crazy, man.
Yeah, but it's what I'm saying. It's the It's the thought process at the time, man. It's like they destroying the power structure. It seems like, you know what I'm saying? Because especially in those states where basketball was really like, you know what I'm saying, big. You know what I'm saying, where college sports was really big, like a Kansas or a Kentucky, Indiana, you know what I'm saying, places like that where they, you know what I'm saying, they used to recruiting, you know what I'm saying, kids and bringing kids on. You know what I'm saying, but it's crazy to see that, just the way that they kind of structured shit. You know what I'm saying? Like we said, for two players to be on the court at the same time, like you can't have no more than that. Or you know what I'm saying, you can't have no, I think it was like you couldn't have no more than three or something like that. But you could have two on at the same time. I mean, it was just crazy just to even think about shit like that. Like you know what I'm saying? It was games to where they be playing and they be, you know what I'm saying, getting the best of another team, but they getting called for a foul that they ain't even commit, or they getting called for traveling, or they getting called for double jump. You know what I'm saying? They just getting all these calls. Sometimes get technicals. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to play a game that you love when all the odds are against you. It's even harder to play it when you know what I'm saying, all the odds are against you and you know that you're playing for something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can only imagine where their mindset was. Like, we still got to remember, like, these are still young guys that are in college. You know what I'm saying? Like, these aren't grown men at this time. These are really, like, young men in college still, early 20s, where, they just trying to make something happen. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, trying to go on and get a better life. All they want to do is play basketball, and they got a chance to play basketball at one of the highest levels. So, to eventually go down the road after everything that they've been through and finally come to a decision to say, well, where the coach tells you, I don't want anybody, you know what I'm saying, playing that's not black. And then, you got these 7 guys who basically are at the time really carrying their race on their shoulders. You know what I'm saying? Like, you carrying a whole community on your shoulders in this game. And just to know that, you know what I'm saying, that amount of pressure, that amount of weight, they came out on top, you know what I'm saying? And really, if you think about it, like, this is around the time where, even if we was in Ohio, we would still be rooting for Texas Western because that's the black team. You know what I'm saying? The same way that they will cheer for Muhammad Ali because he's the black boxer, or cheer for Joe Louis because he's the black boxer. You know what I'm saying? Like that, it felt like that kind of situation. You know what I'm saying? You got All-American Kentucky, Adolph Rupp, one of the best college coaches ever, you know what I'm saying, to coach the game, one of the most prestigious schools to ever, you know what I'm saying, have basketball, ever have a basketball program. And then you got Texas Western, who nobody even knew of before the season. And then they just come in and they just dominate. You know what I'm saying? First, like I said, first play of the game was a dunk. You know what I'm saying? They was throwing alley-oops. You had Bobby Joe Hill, you know what I'm saying, showcasing his handles. You know what I'm saying? Jump shots left and right. It was just, you could tell that they were the better team, especially that, they had a coach who knew how to coach them and knew how to get them to play together. And, he had that confidence to be able to have their back at that moment when he knew that majority of the country was going to be against him. And, you know what I'm saying, he stood tall with him. And, he knew that everybody that was watching, especially every black person that was watching, was going to be cheering for them. And in a way, they became heroes without really even knowing it.
Well, I'm surprised you didn't use the example. Like, they showed a clip of the black students at Kentucky, and they was all in the room, and they started cheering when, you know what I'm saying?
Texas Western, yep.
Yeah, and they had to, put their hands over their mouth. Yeah. So, the other students didn't hear them. But that's a great point. And then also you got to consider the fact of the argument, right? And it reminded me of Remember the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most pivotal moments in this movie was the game that they lost after Never Shed, that happened on Never Shed, and like it was that. And then also when they put niggers on the in that hotel room with blood and all this type of stuff. So they seeing the more we win, the more we catch hell. So they ended up not really playing well. And then like they wasn't passing the ball to the white players and all that type of stuff. So they had the little scene in the in the locker room where it was it was very pivotal because the one white guy was saying like, "Yo, we taking a back seat to y'all."
Mm-hmm.
Then Willie was like, "Welcome to the back of the bus, white boy." That shit was so funny. It was
Hey,
so
bro.
funny the way he
Hey,
said it.
Lil Willie was a tough guy, man. He was a real
Yeah,
live tough guy, man.
he was, man. I like Willie, and like it was just the conversations that they was having, and it was like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, like y'all are just temporarily dealing with what we always got to deal with.
Yeah.
But you also got to understand it's like just like the dude Armstrong was saying. He
Mm-hmm.
was saying that yo, it's tough for us to be on this team as well.
Yeah.
Because you got to understand, like, now I'm not saying that we should feel sorry for them, but
Mm-hmm.
like I'm pretty sure there was situations where like their parents was like, y'all playing with all these black dudes. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So I'm pretty sure that some of them was catching hell for just playing on that team because they ended up, growing a brotherhood. Like they ended up like finding a way other than just coexist with each other. They found a way to become a team and
Yeah.
actually win. And,
Yeah.
and we've seen this happen before this happened later, obviously, but it happened with Remember the Titans. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That they just ended up putting that team together and like then because those white players, like they could, some of them probably could have left. Like, yo, I can go play somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But they decided to stay, and I thought that scene was very important for them all to say the thing that they wanted to say because I felt like it was a conversation that needed to be had, and it's
Yeah.
also a conversation that America need to have because
Mm-hmm.
it's just like I'm pretty sure that there were some people that felt the way that the white players felt, and it was some people that felt the way the black players felt. They had the
Yeah.
conversation, and then it was like, they was able to convince the other side of like, okay, I see what you're saying now. Now let's
Mm-hmm.
move on.
I mean, you could tell they had a bond, man. One of my favorite scenes is when they snuck out and went to the party. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Like
yeah,
to me, those are some of the golden moments. You know what I'm saying? Like those are some of the things that really create a bond. You know what I'm saying? The fact that they even brought the white players with them, and you know what I'm saying, everybody got along, everybody was having a good time in that moment. You know what I'm saying? You could see and you could feel like it wasn't no such thing as color. Like we all human, we all getting along, we having a great time, we enjoying this music, we enjoying the women enjoying the men, and we vibing, we having a great time. And then, you know what I'm saying, that next day they had to hit them sprints. And it was hell to pay, you know what I'm saying? But it was great to be able to see them in that, you know what I'm saying, in that scene, when they was just calling at each other and they was dancing and, drinking and just having a good time, feeling free, man. And it just was, an example that no matter what's going on out there in the world, it's a commonality amongst all of us. You know what I'm saying? And when we find that commonality, you know what I'm saying, everything else is gonna happen. Everything else is just gonna feel just as normal as it should. But I was surprised to hear about Bobby Joe Hill, who outshined in that Kansas game. He outshined the guy I was talking about, JoJo White. And JoJo
yeah,
White was an All-American guard who ended up playing for Boston. That's what I was thinking of, though. But he played for Boston for several years. I think he ended up going up until 1980. That was the last time he played. So, I mean, it just lets you know just the type of talent that these guys was up against. It wasn't, just like no regular players. You know what I'm saying? You had Pat Riley that they played against, JoJo White that they played against. I'm sure they played against various other players, but you know, to think about like just how what I'm saying, when Coach Haskins was talking to Bobby Joe Hill, he was saying like, "Yo, you just as good as JoJo White." He was like, "He really don't got nothing on you. You can really, you know what I'm saying, you can really outplay him. You got to get that out your head that he better than you." And he went out on that court and he showed him that he was just as good as he was. And then to see the career that JoJo White had, the fact that he went, what was it? He went to the Olympics and into the league. And you know what I'm saying? I think Bobby Joe Hill, he went undrafted or something like that. I think he played for like maybe 1 or 2 teams and he went undrafted. But it just goes to show you just, you know, just the type of talent that they was going up against, the type of talent that they had, you know what I'm saying? Just how much confidence the coach had in them. And it was, yeah, I don't know, man. It just, stories like these, man, it makes you wonder, you know what I'm saying? Like, if, you know what I'm saying, if things are at an even playing field, you know, where would we be right now? Just imagine, like, if those guys had actually played or were able to play at, you know what I'm saying, at Kansas and be an all-black team out of Kansas or be an all-black team out of Kentucky, much like what we see nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Where would the game be at now? You know what I'm saying? What type of stuff would we be seeing now? You know what I mean? Like, would Michael Jordan had been in our time or would he would have been in Dr. J's time? Or would Dr. J had, you know what I'm saying, still been able to do what he did? You know what I'm saying? Like, in the NBA that he was doing in the ABA. Like, it's just so frustrating to see what they went through, but at the same time, it was kind of inspiring to see what they did on the court at the same time, if that make any sense.
Yeah, and the thing that you didn't mention about that party was another conversation that had to be had when Armstrong asked them, "Okay, what y'all want to be called, colored or black?" He was like,
Oh,
"Man, we
yeah.
ain't no laundry." He was like, "We ain't no basket of laundry." He was like, "Man, black." He was like, "I thought black was bad." He was like, "Yeah." He was like, "So what? You telling me bad is good?" He was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah." He was like, "Okay, so what is bad?" And it was so funny because that's how we say bad now. We see a girl
Yeah.
like, "Man, that girl bad."
And
You know
she
what I'm
bad
saying?
as hell.
Exactly. Bad is good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I thought that was dope because it's like that gives like the people that want to make that change, at least they'll know the right lingo, and then they'll know how to at least, be the icebreaker. Like if they, see a black person, like they already know right off the rip, like, all right, well, I know he don't want to be called colored. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm gonna walk up to him. I mean, it's not gonna come up in conversation, but at least he's gonna know, like, not to call him colored, like he knows to say, yo, this is a black man type of thing. But as far as on the court, I mean, the way that the movie put it like Bobby Joe Hill didn't do anything professionally. Like he just basically married old girls and like just helped around in the community. But like that's another thing that was really dope about this movie was, and they usually don't make movies about a team where the people didn't, at least most of the people didn't go off to do successful things. You know what I'm saying? Like David Lattin ended up getting drafted and playing for the San Francisco Warriors, and Harry Flournoy, he stayed to be a principal and a school teacher, and then like Armstrong, he became a coach, and like the one dude, well, Willie, he ended up playing in the ABA, and then he ended up being the dean of the school, well, something about Harlem Choir or some kind of shit. So like they went on to do other great things. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't just like, yo, we had this, this one run in college and then we just fell off the face of the earth. You know what I mean? Like, they actually did like really big, huge things in their life and became, figures in their community as well. So I thought that was also something else that was dope about the story. But I feel like this story don't get like as much praise as it should. Now I do remember, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago, and it was before March Madness started, and they actually told a story of Texas Western on ESPN, and I was like, this story needs to be told like this. I think that this story needs to be told before every what do you call it? I don't know. Maybe not the tournament. Maybe when it gets down to like the Final Four or something, because everybody's tuning in to the Final Four. So like maybe they need to every year do this cover story of this Texas Western team, because people need to understand, especially some of these black kids who, they don't want to go out and learn their history. They just they don't understand, like, this is the team that, like, this path that you on right now, This is the team that dealt with all of that bullshit that y'all don't have to deal with. That I didn't have to deal with. It was like they took the blow for us to be able to just, cause like, man, we don't have to have no conversations of like, yo, I want my kid to play basketball, so I'm gonna go take him to this black Y down the street, and sign them up. Like, we just sign them up. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have to think about like, oh well, cause it might be a little different for you, but maybe not. But I'm in the South, like South. You know what I'm saying? So those would have been the type of decisions that I would have had to make if it wasn't for like a team like this, man. So I think that this is something that I wish that they would do this cover story every year, Final Four time, Elite Eight time, and show these kids like, yo, y'all are afforded the things y'all afforded for all of the things that this team had to go through, and all of you coaches that when y'all recruit players, like Don Hopkins is the person who opened it up for these schools down in the South to be able to just recruit players and don't have to go see if they're black or white or whatever. So
exactly.
Yeah, this team needs more respect.
Now, this is the interesting thing I found out. In the movie, it made it seem like that was his first season coaching at Texas Western.
It wasn't.
He was 5 seasons in. You know what I'm saying? And that was crazy, man. They went 28-1. You know what I'm saying? That's a crazy record to have at the time. To only lose 1 game. It's a crazy record to have at the time. And then they got inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2007. And it's crazy to even think that it took until 2007, a year after this movie comes out, that they get inducted into the Hall of Fame. Something that I think they should have been inducted in at least, I don't know, 86, 96 at the most. Like, come on, man. This is something that should have been done. But you know how the game goes, man. It's crazy just to even think that, you know what I'm saying, like at one point in time when, you still had shit like Jim Crow and you still had fucking, rampant racism, you know what I'm saying, like overt racism. And to think that 7 black kids came out and took the helms of history and was like, yo, we about to make some shit happen. It was, you know what I'm saying, it's a feel-good movie, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a feel-good movie for everybody, but for black people especially. It's something that we get to look at.
But also at the same time, you got to, and then just for people to really, really understand it, they was waving, number one, they was waving Confederate flags at the game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But this is the crazy
spitting
part.
On them, calling them niggas in the stands, all that. Yeah.
Yeah, all that. But when they decided to do that, like, do you think that they really at the time considered that it could have got hostile? Like, one of the players said that at the end, like at the end of the movie when they was talking, he was like, dude, the cameraman was white. Everybody in the stands was white. The refs was white. Everybody was white. He was like, it could have, for us winning this game, it could have got hostile real quick. But they were just like, yo, we ain't gonna worry about that. We're gonna go out here, we're gonna play this game, we're gonna prove everybody wrong, and we're just gonna go out here and play to our best ability. Now, I've actually watched, I didn't watch it all the way through, but I actually watched the real footage of the real game.
Yeah.
I've actually seen it. And it's so dope how they was able to reenact some of the stuff exactly the way it was. But then at the same time, the game wasn't even that close. The way they put it in the movie. They put it in the movie that Kentucky got a shot. No. They murdered these dudes. They murdered Pat Riley and them. They got whooped in that damn game. But but like you said, they make it seem like that was his first year there. They didn't really I mean, I guess that it was really because I had to look it up to make sure. I was like, damn, like 1 year out of coaching high school girls, you won a championship. And so then I actually went and I looked at it, and it was a couple of years, but that team had grown together, but then you also got to remember, like, Don Haskins' style, he was what's my man name? Rick Carlisle. You know what I'm saying? He want to control everything.
Mm-hmm.
And like it shows in the beginning where he put shackles on the black players. And like, cause they was in one game, they was down by like 18 or something. He was like, "Oh, like you gotta let us play." He was like, "All right, well y'all play." He's like, "You play your game, but you also play my game too." And then he looked at my dude like, "You ready to play?" I'm like, "Yep, let's do it." And then that's thing, but they went out there and dusted them dudes.
Tore their ass
Hey, once he open up the floodgates and letting them play the way they want to play, man, it was over after that, man.
Mm-hmm. But just real quick, man, just to let people know, these are some of the teams that they played against. Let's see, they played against Fresno State. They played against Nevada. Let's see, Iowa, who was number 4 at the time that they played. They played Colorado State, Arizona, New Mexico, Arizona State, Colorado State. I think I already said that one, or did I say Colorado? No, I said Colorado State. They played Cincinnati. Wow, you know what I'm saying? Played Kansas, played Utah, and then eventually played Kentucky. They were ranked number 3 at the time they played Kentucky. They would have been number 2 if they wouldn't have lost to Seattle. Is 74-72. That's crazy, man. And the score to that Kentucky game was 72-65.
Like Uncle Washington, he used to tell me, like, when you know those games where like they might have won by 6 or something like that, but it's just like honestly, like it really wasn't that close. It was one of those type of situations.
You can tell by the movie that it really wasn't that close. The fact that the first play of the game, nigga Pat Riley gets dunked on, like that's not a close game. That's not gonna be a close game, bro. When have you ever think about that? Like let us be watching the game right now, and you know what I'm saying, tip off, he get the ball, throw it down, Bron just dunk on somebody. You know from that point on, this is gonna be the Lakers game. You know that they were gonna run away with this motherfucker. Like, I can just imagine that when David Lattin went up and dunked on him like that, it was just like, it's game time.
Yeah. But
for them to start at the biggest stage in college, you know what I'm saying? Or the biggest stage in college basketball against, you know what I'm saying, the best team in the nation against Adolph Rupp, like, you knew that, like, they was ready to shut these motherfuckers down in front of the whole crowd full of white folks. Like, we about to tear y'all ass up. Like, I'm trying to tell you, we about to get y'all ass for business. This is for all this shit we done been going through. Like, I'm surprised we ain't seen more people get dunked on.
Hey, but you stupid, man. But another thing, man, that I wanted to mention was just the fact of like what Don Haskins had to deal with. Like, he had to move his family into a dorm room, my guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Into the men's dorm room.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where his wife and his kids had to go because, like, they didn't have no budget. Like, that's how small the school was.
Well, at least that's what we've seen, because now that I know that this nigga was 5 seasons in, we don't know where the hell they really lived at that time. We don't know what the fuck is really going on.
But man, to go out on a limb like that, and even like what his wife had to go through, you know what I'm saying, getting death threats and all this type shit, like that's a decision, man. That's not an easy decision. Like, it just when you're a coach, you just want to coach the guys and win, and it's just like when he made the decision. Even and look what it took for the one booster to finally be happy. You remember when they was in the lobby and he seen that Sports Illustrated, and then the booster saw his name. Now he happy. He don't care about the 7 black guys now. But the whole time he was like, we need them to win. He was like, well, we haven't lost. You know what I'm saying? But then he still was kind of shaky about it. But then once he saw his name in the Sports Illustrated, okay.
Everything cool.
Oh, yeah, everything good now. And then he said, look, my sales has gone through the roof because I think he owned a furniture store or something like that. So it's like now you're making money in the team that you sponsoring and winning now. Now, it don't matter they black now. You see how that shit work, man? That's just like in One Night in Miami. Oh man, I love Jim Brown, man. I'm glad to say I'm from the same town Jim Brown is from. And Oh, Jim, come on, man. You know you can't come in the house. Niggas ain't allowed in the house. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like that's how it is. And it's just like, and like that's when they seen. I think another thing about this game that really changed a lot of stuff is 2 things. Like number one, it took. There's always a positive and negative with every situation. Like even though this is a win, it also was a loss for HBCUs. You know what I'm saying? Because what they did was that kind of opened up that floodgate for these guys that was only getting into HBCUs, and like maybe one guy can go to, I don't know, Utah or whatever. Like now, it opens up the floodgate for more players to be more spread out and go to different schools. But that also gave guys more exposure too. So it's like it's always a positive and a negative. And I think that's what took that competition from the HBCUs for not being as good anymore, because the really, really good players, if they get a scholarship offer from Duke or North Carolina or some shit, they're like, yo, I'm going to go to Duke, North Carolina. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I have a better chance of making it to the NBA than going down to, Grambling State and playing down there. So that was like one of those positive and negatives that came along with this game, because the other coaches started to see. Like that's just like one of the most funniest things I ever seen, man. It was last year, because I didn't know this story as well. When Bear Bryant, he didn't really, in the beginning, he didn't really recruit black players.
Right.
And they had ended up, I think Bear Bryant started to see. Now, I don't know if he did it for the kindness of his heart, but he started to see, like, the black guy started to take over. And what he did was he scheduled USC. And from the way that they made it seem like in that cover story was he was talking to the ADs and stuff about recruiting black players, but they were saying, it wouldn't go over well with the fans, staff and all the type of stuff. It wouldn't go too good. Right. So the way that they depicted in the cover story was he scheduled USC because he knew USC had, I think they had like 8 or 9 or 10 like black players, and they had the fullback and the running back was black. Man, those running backs put up about 400 yards rushing on them. Listen, murder Alabama, murdered them, right? And they said after the game when they interviewed him, he was smiling. They said this is the first time they ever seen Bear Bryant smile after a loss in an interview. And the way they put it was, this was the justification that I needed to show y'all we need black players.
Yeah.
Like, look at what USC just did to us. So we need some of that. So the way they put it was Bear Bryant scheduled USC knowing that they was going to get murdered to prove a point to the Alabama fans that we need to start recruiting black players. And like I said, that's that positive negative, because like back at the time, Mississippi Valley State was good. Grambling State had always been able to put together a good team. FAMU was always pretty good. And like what ended up happening, it started spreading those players out because it seemed more acceptable to have black players on your team. So that's kind of that positive negative thing that happened with that type of stuff.
And Grambling, man, then that's what Doug Williams went, ain't it?
Yeah, Doug Williams, but he wasn't even the famous coach from that school. He took over for that one famous coach. God, what was that dude name, man? I gotta find it.
No, Doug Williams quarterback at Grambling.
Yeah, and he played under this one coach that was like he had put together a bunch of runs down there, man.
Yeah. For people that don't know, Doug Williams is the first black quarterback to ever win the Super Bowl. He won it with the what is now called the Washington football team.
Eddie Robinson. That's what it is. Eddie Robinson.
Eddie Robinson? Yeah, yep.
Yes.
Eddie Robinson was the man. Yeah, he had Grambling on the run. But
on the map, man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's always one or two, you know what I'm saying? It's always one or two of those schools that you can go look at, you know what I'm saying? That, usually wouldn't get the same love, but like, Georgetown is one of those schools for me, to see what, you know what I'm saying, Coach Tompkins did down there, bro, it was great.
Hey, boy, I'm with you, dude. I was like, John Thompson was, when it came to the black community, like he was like our Michael Jordan. Like, dude, you anywhere in the country, it didn't matter where you were, you saw Georgetown Hoya gear.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like John Thompson was that dude who just made it cool to wear. Like, I grew up a damn Georgetown fan just because I thought that the coach was cool on the sideline. Like, I had a thing with coaches. Like, it was John Thompson. Like, for me, it was John Thompson, it was Bobby Bowden, and it was Pat Summitt. It was just something about all three of them for me. I was just like, I don't know what it is about them. I want to play for all of them. And it was just
John Thompson, especially because, like, if you think about it, bro, like, if you look at, you know what I'm saying, like, I remember HBO had the documentary about Georgetown and Villanova and how it felt like, you know what I'm saying, it was the white team against the black team, kind of same thing, like, you know what I'm saying, 1966 game is. Like, just the fact that, Villanova was this clear cut, this cookie cutter, type team.
It's like a Catholic school.
Yeah, and then, you know what I'm saying, like, I remember them talking about playing against, like, Duke. They felt the same way. Like, I remember, I forgot who it was. They was, no, this is the Fab Five documentary I'm thinking of now. But, like, even then, we'll get to them, too. Like, but just the way Georgetown had it, man, like, they was really, like, a team full of ballers. They always had a baller, and it was, like, it just felt like he was putting these guys on the map. And then to move on to, like, the Fab Five, to talk about how, when they play, you know what I'm saying, like the shit that they went against, they made it cool for hip hop to be integrated into, you know what I'm saying, basketball, and to wear the big shorts, to wear the black socks, you know what I'm saying, the bald heads, you know what I'm saying, like to play the game fast, like, you know what I'm saying, they had a forward or a center who was playing like a guard with Chris Webber, you know what I'm saying, like Jalen Rose, tall, getting buckets, playing like he a guard, you know what I'm saying. I mean, like they really had those guys, and then like I remember them talking about like how they couldn't wait to play against Duke because they hated the way Duke was. They hated it seemed like Duke was that white school, you know what I'm saying? Like they had, Grant Hill, and they was looking at Grant Hill like Uncle Tom. Like all kind of shit was just like it like this shit has been going on and going on and going on, and it's so crazy that you would think that in 1966 we would have an end to this, but it seems as if like almost every decade we end up running into this problem.
Every time, man, and it's sickening. It's sickening to watch, and then especially to be like where we are now. It's 2021, and it's like we still have some of these issues, man. But now it's moved to off the court and off the field. It's moved to, players of basketball operations, GMs, coaches. Like it has moved to that because, and even when it still comes to the black quarterback, sometimes it's still those rumblings of things of, oh well, he's a scrambling quarterback. He can't be a pocket quarterback. Like so, there's still some stuff that's still going on.
I mean,
when it comes,
we dealing with that in the NFL with Lamar Jackson.
exactly. And then like I was listening to a conversation the other day, and I was upset, man. Like they was talking about the Drew Brees retirement,
Yeah,
and they were saying that Drew Brees is probably the most accurate quarterback in NFL history, and I'm like, the fuck, y'all forgot about Warren Moon? What you mean? Warren Moon defines motherfucking accurate. Like, what are you talking about? And
yeah,
it's just like,
yeah.
like motherfuckers like that, they get slept on it. Even somebody like Warren Moon, like there ain't no Lamar Jackson, there's no Randall Cunningham,
Right.
there's none of these guys. He's the one that took the damn bullet. Like to be one of the best quarterbacks, you know what I'm saying, at Washington at the time, to be Washington Huskies, to be one of the best quarterbacks in the Pac-10 in college football, don't get drafted at all, and have
Yeah.
to go to fucking Canada and rip to shreds all of the records up there. So he
And
had to be
then
he
to
was a
come
grown
play for
ass
the
man.
Houston fucking Oilers.
Dude, he was, and then people don't understand. This dude was like 30 when he got there finally.
Yeah,
Like he was like a full-fledged grown ass man, and
yeah.
still was ripping
He
people to
still played
shreds.
a nice little. He still had a nice little career. Played for the
That's what I'm
Oilers. Played for
saying.
the Vikings. I think that's it, ain't it? Just the Oilers and the
Yeah,
Vikings, wasn't it?
I think he might have got a. He did get a short stint with Seattle. He
Okay.
he went to Seattle real quick,
Yeah.
but just I mean just that, like we have to, when it comes to those type people and like this team, we have to pay our dues to these people.
Yeah.
You know how when they tell you, if you see a serviceman or a servicewoman, thank you for your service type of thing.
Right.
Like we should be doing this to these type people because they the
Yeah.
one who had to suffer to go through
Mm-hmm.
all of the bullshit so we don't have to. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? And like this team, like Warren Moon and even guys like Eddie Robinson, I think people seen that even though most of the teams that he was playing was other black schools, but for Eddie Robinson to be put up, on the pedestal with some of these other coaches as a really great coach,
Yeah.
he opened up the door for, the Doug Williams and all of
Yeah.
that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So
Big time.
yeah, I think these people need to be paid their due. I was disappointed in the Dan Levitar show, man. I love that show. I was disappointed when they said Drew Brees was the greatest, was the most accurate quarterback in NFL history. I'm like, y'all pissing me off now, man. I keep leaving Warren Moon out there, man. I'm telling you,
But I
I'm
mean,
mad,
it's
man.
even if you know what I'm saying, like when we think about these things, man, we also, have to even think about, what I'm saying, like just recently how the MLB started to add in, what I'm saying, Negro League stats
Mm-hmm.
as official Major League Baseball stats. You know what I'm saying? Like that's something that just happened this year. So you know what I'm saying? Like after all these years, after all this shit that's been going on, you finally just, you know what I'm saying, accepting these stats in, and then you start to realize that the reason that they ain't letting some of these stats in is because, they try to say, well, a lot of them is being recorded and fabricated, and we really don't know because some of the rules are different. And it's not that. It's the fact that some of these records that motherfuckers is just now breaking been broke. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
And some
Yeah.
of these records been broke a long time ago. They wouldn't have broke the record if y'all was accepting the Negro League stats because the record would already been broke. So you know what I'm saying? Like it's just what I'm saying, how everybody's, talking about Satchel Paige, and they say how, Satchel Paige, he broke the home run record. You know what I'm saying? Hit the longest home run in history. And people still don't give him credit for it. People say it's fabricated. People say that, it's just a myth. Nobody was really there to see it. So, you know what I'm saying? Just to know, like, we've always been extraordinary at, what I'm saying, sports. We've always been the top of sports, and just to know that what we've done isn't being accepted is just, it's crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? But let's go ahead and get to these fire flames, my brother.
Hold on. One thing though before you go. One
What's
thing
up?
before you go. To finish up that point, Hank Aaron. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like the death threats and everything for him because he was coming
Oh
up
man.
on Babe Ruth's record, and then when he break the record, white dude just runs onto the field. You know what I'm saying? This
Mm-hmm.
dude, he was told like, "Yo, you hit this home run, we're gonna kill you," and then all of a sudden he's running the bases, and then a white dude just run up on him. You know how terrifying that gotta be.
Man, I'm trying to tell you.
I mean, so for the baseball to do that, like, okay, it is one of those situations where it's like, a little too late type of things, but then at the same time, it's still great for the families, which is probably the great grandkids or, whatever the case may be, able to see they, great grandfather, name in the record books. So
shit,
we
for
have to
real,
look at
it ain't even that far away. It's fucking grandparents. You know what I'm saying? Like, just thinking about that, like, it's really grandparents. It ain't even great grandparents. It's grandparents. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my mom, her grandfather was probably able to play in the goddamn Negro League. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit like that. Like, that just lets you know, man. Like I say, I always tell people, like, we look at all this shit as history and we call it history, but really, man, it really ain't that far away. Like, all this stuff that we talking about really ain't that far away. I mean, if you look at it now, yeah, but like, you know what I'm saying? 30 years ago, we was only 30 years removed from it. Think about it like that. You know what I'm saying? 30 years ago, we was only 30 years removed from it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And we talking about 1966. And even then, it wasn't even, yeah, about 30 years of, I own maybe 24, 26, whatever, but if you want to be accurate. But yeah, we was almost 30 years removed from it. So just to let just to let people know, just to get a glimpse of, how far we really come in time. We really, like, we really ain't that far removed from 1966. Just know that.
Yes, sir. But we can jump into it.
All right.
Yoga fire. Yoga flame.
All right, man. It's fire flame time, man. You want to take the lead on this one?
I take it.
Okay.
One thing I want to mention before I get into it is, like, other films that are similar to this, man. If people are interested in this type of history, man, you gotta watch Remember the Titans. You gotta watch The Express, and I'm gonna throw Coach Carter in there as well, because that's also another fascinating story. But when it comes to a movie with the significance of this, I'm definitely gonna tie that in. I'm also a sucker for true stories. That's another thing that always go high on my meter. Like obviously we do know some they gotta, I don't know, I ain't gonna say lighten stuff up, but they also gotta, in some cases, might fabricate a little something for cinema purposes and things like that. But overall, it was a true event, true story. Those type movies always get me. I thought it was told well. I thought it was written well. They put a lot of flavor in it. Great soundtrack, by the way. And then that was one of my favorite Alicia Keys songs. One of these days you got to wake up. That song was dope. But sports movies wise, this is very high on my list. They tend to make, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I feel like they make better basketball movies than football movies.
Yeah, it's easier to.
Yeah, it is. It is easier to as well. But man, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, man. I'm gonna give it a 4 fire flame, man. I thought they did pretty good. I thought the actors in it was good. I think that Josh Lucas, it seemed like it was really, he was like kind of the, I will say this. So the what's the name came out today? The Oscar noms came out, and they said that when they did the script and when they turned everything in, Daniel Kaluuya and the Keith Stanfield both went in as supporting actors.
Yeah,
like
I seen
they
that.
didn't.
I seen that. They both called him supporting because they didn't.
Yeah.
The reason they did that because these motherfuckers didn't know who the goddamn lead actor was.
Yeah,
in the movie.
And I bring that up to say him and Derek Luke kind of battled that out as well. You know what I'm saying? It was really focused on Don Hopkins and Bobby Joe Hill. So I thought both of them did a really, really good job in their roles. So I just wanted to mention that, man. I'm gonna give it a 4 or 5 play.
Okay. Well, for me, seeing it originally in 2006, you know what I'm saying, learning the story about, you know what I'm saying, the Texas Western miners, um, and then, you know, rewatching it as I'm older and realizing the significance of it, how important it was for these gentlemen to go out and even if they didn't, you know what I'm saying, realize that's what they were doing, but for them to go out, play this game and win this game, and now, you know, you look at the trajectory of basketball and where it's going. You know, it's possible because, well, it's possible in part because, you know, saying these young men chose to play the game and chose not to give up when times got hard and when, you know what I'm saying, even sometimes death was near. So, you know what I'm saying, that's hats off to them. We are always indebted to them, of course, because they definitely made a way when there could possibly be no way. So, you know what I'm saying, that's dope. Salute to Coach Don Haskins as well. This movie was good though. You know what I'm saying? I want to say that for it to be a Disney movie, you know, they they kind of let some shit loose. Um,
Yeah.
you know, usually Disney movies don't get too grimy or, you know, they don't get too deep into certain shit, but you know what I'm saying, they did this, they did Remember the Titans. So Disney was definitely, you know what I'm saying, putting out those stories that people needed to hear. Even though I didn't like how they tried to play my man like they just recruited him or whatever after his 5 seasons there. But outside of that, you know what I'm saying, like it was a great story. Great cast, you know what I'm saying? The cast was very noticeable. So for me, man, I'm gonna go 4.5. I enjoyed the movie. I think the movie is you know what I'm saying, very educating and it's very entertaining at the same time. And you know what I'm saying, it's one of those movies that can be shown forever as a testament to, you know what I'm saying, you know, what Black history truly is. And I think this is definitely one of the most important parts and pieces of Black history. So yeah, 4.5.
What's up? I ain't mad at it at all. I was real close to giving it a 4.5. Like it's just a really good movie. Like just
Yeah, it
overall,
really
it's
is.
just a really good movie and it's
It make
educational.
you
You
laugh,
can
make you cry, all that.
Yeah, all that. You really get all the emotions in this movie. You get excited, you
Hmm.
get mad, you get happy, you get everything that you really get going into a film. Like you get
And
every
it's
emotion.
really not even any bad acting in the movie. That's another thing too. Like you don't really get these movies with these type of actors and get no bad acting at all. Like it was not one person in the movie who you was like, he don't know what the fuck he doing, or you could tell he knows and he don't know his like. Nah, they was actually decent to good actors, and they did great jobs.
Yeah, I ain't mad at it at all, man. I ain't mad at it at all. Yo, so so you broke down, man, and finally start
Yeah,
watching those
man.
previews, man.
Yeah, man. I watched the preview. You know what I'm saying? It looks like it's gonna get heated this next episode of Snowfall, man. You know what I'm saying? Leon is definitely in the pickle in this one. Um, man, Scully is you know, we talked about it. Scully is gonna be very pissed, but I think so is Manboy. Manboy is definitely gonna be pissed when he find out what's going on. And like I told you, you know what I'm saying, that beef that Manboy and Leon got could definitely, you know, boil over. So we'll see, man. I think that's gonna be the main focus of this episode. But we will see.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be surprised if we find out that there's gonna be, one of those half season things where they
Hmm.
break it up because for it to be this intense for episode 5,
Yeah,
for them to be dealing with the things that they're dealing with at this time,
yeah.
I mean, you said that you wouldn't mind it. I would, man. I'm like, yo, like I'm ready for it. Like I need to know what happens. And that's just like when I was I was talking to even we were trying to set up that podcast, but we had to reschedule. And I told him about like, dude, you need to watch Snowfall. He was like, dude, I like the binge stuff. And
Yeah.
it's just like when it comes to, television nowadays, like that's what we used to. Like Netflix just ruined the game. Not ruined it. I mean, it's not ruined. Well, in a way it is and it ain't, because it's just like, when it comes to Netflix, they put out the whole series, and then if it's good, you get into it. The next thing you know, watch the whole damn season, and it's like, yo, I need more. It's like, dude, they just finished. Like, they just put it out. So you got to wait that time for that next one to come out. You know what I'm saying? It might take them a year and a half to give you season 2 or whatever. So with this being, out this way, it gives you something to simmer about for a week. You know what I'm saying? It's like now, like, I watched the preview right off the rip. You just now watched it, and you like, so now we see what happens, and then they always leave you with cliffhangers, and it's telling me you want to wait another month to find out what happens.
And another thing too is the preview don't always tell you the exact story, because it'll go from Leon to Franklin holding the gun, and then in the show, that ain't even what the fuck was going down. So, you know what I'm saying? That's one of those things to where you gotta be careful too, because the way Snowfall is, you think that the preview showing you exactly what's going on, or kind of giving you a glimpse of what's going on. In all reality, that ain't even how the story gonna break down. So that's another thing I like too with the preview, is that you getting certain shots from, from the show, but you really still don't know exactly what's finna happen. So I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? They definitely keep you in suspense.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. But I'm definitely excited about this episode. I'm excited about the episode. I'm excited to speak about the episode, because that's something, man, that is so dope, man. Because like I always tell you, like the great thing about this podcast is like, you have those thoughts that you want to get off, and then sometimes there ain't a person around you that's interested into the show, and it's just like, yo, I got you, and I can bounce off all my ideas that I thought about the show. I was able to bounce them all off you, get your ideas. Maybe I didn't see this scene the way you saw it, and then I get it from a different point of view, and then so I just think that though I'm ready for both. I'm ready to watch it, and I'm ready to do the episode on it, man. So it's gonna be fun Friday, but Thursday and Friday, shit. Because I watch mine on Thursday. You watch it, dude. I'm telling you.
I watch it Wednesday and Thursday.
Dude, I be so tired, man. I ain't even gonna lie, but like sometimes I be falling asleep by 10:30, but
I already know, bro. When I get home, you know what I'm saying, I get everything out the way, I take a nap, get up at like 8, you know what I'm saying, watch a little bit of wrestling with the kids, and then boom, Snowfall come on, watch that, hit the bed, come home, and then I watch it again. So yeah, you know what I'm saying, I got a little schedule going on right now, man.
See, my schedule is I watch it Thursday, you know what I'm saying? And then when I get off from work Friday before we do the episode, I watch it that Friday before we record. So that's the little schedule that I've been doing lately. So
Okay.
Yeah,
man. That DVR coming in handy, man.
For sure.
But you guys could check me out at Scoots Bronson on Twitter, Scoots Bronson _TV on Instagram, Scoots Bronson TV on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. If you're listening, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. Excuse me. And if you are on Facebook, go to the VA Podcast Watch Group. Excuse me. Goodness gracious. VA Podcast Watch Group page. Hit that. Well, not invite, but hit that join button. Make sure you join the group. It's growing slowly but surely. We getting more and more members by the day. So you know what I'm saying. You want to be a part of it. This is where you can get all the information on the Viewers Anonymous podcast. And you can also get information about each of our podcasts separately. You also can get, you know what I'm saying, if you don't know where to find the video, you can find the video. If you don't know where to find the link, you can find the link. Linktree will be coming soon. I'll be having that up this week. So that way you can get whatever link that you need. If you listen to Overcast or Apple or Spotify or whatever, you can just hit that link and then boom, you're right there. And you'll be able to listen to us through audio or watch us on YouTube. And then we'll have all the links in one place so you guys can find it. So make sure you go to VA Podcast Watch Group on Facebook.
Yes, sir, man. And you can find me on the Stolen Time Podcast. That's on Facebook. Also, S.Foster8 and S.Foster8. That'll be on Facebook. No, that's on Instagram and Twitter. And Stolen Time Pod is on Instagram. And also, I just put out a new episode of 28 Minutes or Less. You know what I'm saying? The subject matter was a combination of crack and also New Jack City. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
New Jack City had the 30-year anniversary on March the 8th. It's crazy to think that movie is 30 years old. So like, so I put together a little episode, man, talking about New Jack City and crack and mixing in a whole bunch of that type stuff. So hope people enjoy that. And also, I made a mistake, man. I hadn't listened back to it. I said something, but I meant to say something after it, and it make it seem like something's not going to happen. What I did was, I was just saying that, you know, when it comes to Uncle Washington, I said that I put it in a way of saying like he's done, like he is never going to return type of thing. And I didn't mean to say it that way. I was just saying that he's out right now. The jury's still out. You know, I'm not sure if he's going to return to the Stolen Time podcast, but I said it in a way of like, I said it like it's a definite, like he's not, like he finished, and that's not what it is. That's not what it is. You know, he's just going through some health things right now, and you know he's not able to do any podcasts. And I was just saying that the Stolen Time podcast is still going to continue, and I was just saying that I have some stuff lined up as far as like some guests, and like even if it comes to a point where I got to do some things and rock with it solo for a minute, because like I said, I just really I'll know more information about him next week. But as of right now, you know, it's just me holding down the fort. But I didn't mean to say it in a way of like because the way I said it and I heard it back, I was like, well, they probably think he just quit on me, like, or I just fired him. I was like, nah, man, that ain't what it is. Like, I didn't mean to say it that way. So, you know, shout out to Uncle Washington, man. He's my guy.
Shout out to Unc, man. Get well soon, big guy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, so you know what I'm saying? Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you guys for watching. Appreciate you guys for listening. We will see you guys Friday. With that being said, man, like I said, Hollywood is a wrap.
Cut.